So this is actually the first time that we've had a guest on It's Still Real to Me. And we have executive director of Coastal Championship Wrestling, Nelio Cuomo Costa, who is having us as guests tonight. We're going tonight, Joey, to CCW. I told you, Joey, I had so much fun a couple months ago when I went bash at the Brew, unbranded brewery in Hialeah. 8 p.m. tonight. There's still some tickets, I believe, available. Nelio, good to have you here with us. And I mean, look, you can confirm. I feel like you guys are red hot right now, man.
It's incredible. So the company's been around for 18 years. I've been an owner for about 5 years now, and I don't think there's been a time at CCW and in South Florida professional wrestling, independent wrestling, that has been this hot. We're calling ourselves the last territory. We have shows every single weekend, but specifically down here every first Saturday of the month, which is tonight, which you guys will be my special guests today. Is one of the craziest shows. Like you said, tickets are available, but the reason tickets are still available is we're probably going to be in a standing room only situation. So I would say get there early, go online, ccwrestlingfl.com. But the show is stacked. The fans are hot for wrestling again, and it's incredible. I'm in my dream world right now. I'm in a dream world right now.
Sorry, go ahead, Zaz.
I was just saying, you took over 5 years ago. How did that happen? Like, how did you get involved in that?
So I'm a professional wrestler. I always knew growing up. I would say I knew exactly when I was going to be part of the wrestling business. I watched maybe I was 4. I watched Ric Flair come and put a chair underneath Hulk Hogan on a Tombstone Pile Driver Survivor Series 91. And then that Tuesday in Texas, and then the Royal Rumble 92, not Fair to Flair. That's it. I was a professional wrestler. I was walking around, pile driving my cousins, smashing guys in a wall, hitting people with steel chairs. I was hooked. So I was a football player, trained to become a professional wrestler. And then in 2000 and 10. Wow, this is crazy. I feel really old right now. 2010, moved down here. I met Dan, who was the founder, and Bruno at the time, and different guys. Got involved in CCW, and then 5 years ago, there was some changes in the company, and it was my opportunity to come in and purchase the part of the company, because it was always my dream, and I think I was ready then. So the last 5 years, look, I'm not tooting my own horn, but the last 5 years we've just seen exponential growth, and we're going to continually see that.
Yeah, you mentioned something when you were talking about how the company's growing and what you call yourself, because I'm new to CCW, so this will be my first show, and I'm pumped because Zaz talks about it. I mean, the way Zaz, I got goosebumps even in his intro, getting excited for tonight. But I saw on your Twitter hashtag the last territory, and there's so many new wrestling fans, and it's obviously now we're in like this boom for wrestling again. So a lot of younger wrestling fans they can't comprehend.
They can't fathom, yeah,
right. So why the last territory, and like what does that mean for your company? Like what does it make? Why does that make you guys different as the last territory?
I love that question. So Florida Championship Wrestling from Florida, Eddie Graham, throughout the 70s and 80s, Florida was the hottest territory. I mean, obviously people could talk about the AWA, they could talk about Mid-South, but there was something about Florida. And I don't know if he's a vice president. I don't know if he's just a consultant. One of my best friends, Kevin Sullivan, he's going to be at the show tonight. He's almost at all of our shows now. And he's been working with me in terms of the back end and in the business and stuff like that. And what his feeling and his vibe is that we're getting exactly to where Eddie Graham was getting. And what that was Eddie would run a Tuesday in Orlando, and then he would run a Thursday in Tampa. He'd have a Miami show. So we run so many shows, and we, more than any other independent company, like QT Marshall's he's a VP now at All Elite Wrestling, and he does the talent relations and stuff. And it's so funny because he said, I think you guys might have run more shows than us last year. So we ran 67 shows in 2022. And AEW, because of the taping of Rampage, might have run maybe a little more or possibly a little less. But the point is the fans can come out and they can see us either in a different city or their own city every single week. They can follow our storylines, and we have this little contained little thing. It's a little different because now, when Championship Wrestling in Florida was around, they only had the Dolphins and I believe that was almost it.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, the Buccaneers started while Championship Wrestling in Florida was kind of still big, but the truth of the matter is, like, now you have the Marlins, you have the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, you have the Orlando Magic, you have so much stuff, you have so much sports that a lot of people, told me specifically, look, Eddie Graham could run huge houses everywhere because there were tons of Florida sports fans, and there was almost no sports in Florida at the time. So I think what we're doing is incredible because we're finding lapsed fans, we're bringing in new fans, and then obviously independent wrestling fans are finding us. And what's happening is they realize that there's a promotion in Florida that they can come and they can follow the storylines and they can love on a local level. They have better availability, better FaceTime with the wrestlers, all that type of stuff, and they can have it right here. And look, kudos to a guy like Kevin Sullivan. Kudos to Gangrel, David Heath, who's our head trainer. He's also a vice president in the company of wrestling operations, let's say. Kudos to those guys to make sure that what we're doing, jives and fits and gets us to that next level. So that's really what's happening now. So if you're a wrestling fan, if you're not a wrestling fan, if you're a sports fan, if you're not a sports fan, we have something for you. And hopefully, as we see the crowds grow, we put together a product that will just continually grow. Like, we find people coming back every single month and new fans every month. So,
well, I'll tell you, like, tonight at Unbranded Brewery, 8 p.m. in Hialeah, I'm very much looking forward to that pulled pork sandwich. I'm looking forward to that brisket sandwich tonight. They have such great food there. Obviously, the beer is great. We were hooked when we went a couple of months ago. Can you tell me, like, so during what is your role during the show? What are you doing during the show? I know you're backstage, but, like, what are you doing during the show from a promoter, executive director standpoint? And B, what is it like when, this show that you've mapped out, that you've planned out, and when you get the great reaction from the crowd? What's that like?
Oh, man. That's a great questions. So during the show, 85% of the time I'm right at the monitor. So I'm queuing, making sure things go well, making sure that, the guys are on time. Like, we have the radio headsets to my camera guys. I have radio headsets over to the door. I have radio sets over at merch. So as the show is like a living animal. So, like, something might be happening at merch or at the door that, is conflicting with something that we're doing in the ring, or our fans, specifically in Hialeah, are insane. So there's times when a fan will just throw something in the ring or whatever. I need security there immediately. So I'm most of the time locked into that monitor. Of course, there's times when I have to be pulling guys aside, post-match or pre-match, and making any last-second changes. So that's basically what I say my role is from that time. But really, there's preparation, prevents poor performance. So, it's really the beforehand. It's really getting there early, setting up what needs to be set up, making sure that the show is formatted correctly, making sure that we put together a tight 2-hour show. I hate to give away the secret, but the reason why people are coming back every month is that we run a tight 2-hour show. If you go to other independent wrestling shows, you're stuck for 3.5, 4 hours. And
no, you're right. That's the way to do it, man. But you don't want to be there all night. You get tired.
Of course. Well, we watch. I mean, I don't know if you guys watch Monday Night Raw, but look, and
a long show.
WWE, but 3 hours is an incredible ask for anybody. So a tight 2-hour show, we find we're going to retain more people. I hope the other wrestling promoters in Florida don't listen to it, because they continue to make that mistake. But a nice, tight 2-hour show, get it in, get it out. We'll get those people back. So that was kind of the thing. You format a great show, you put together a great operation in the front. And now what has happened was, look, an audience of 200 to 250 is a very manageable audience, but we're getting into the audiences, 600-700 people. That's become an extra layer of operations and an extra layer of things that need to get done. But that being said, as we're growing, we have more people. We have a Kevin Sullivan who's come on. We have the Gangrel who comes on. My business partner, the founder of the company, Dan Evans. Like, they are all working. They're all working with me to make sure that this all happens smoothly, and most importantly, that the fan experience is elite.
Oh, elite. All right. Well, that's a good tie-in. Let's talk about QT Marshall showing up tonight. Look, without the QT, before we talk about the QT Marshall Open Challenge, it's got to be, I know we have the, Kevin Sullivan, Gangrel, you have all these vets coming back, but it's got to be great for your current roster to have, QT Marshall, who is, running, relations for one of the biggest companies on the planet right now to come back, to teach them, to work with them, just give them advice. It's got to be invaluable for them.
It is incredible. So, I wish, I wish when I started wrestling that I had the ability to ask Bill Alfonso and Kevin Sullivan and Gangrel, like, what to do differently and how to grow. So we have 42 students currently enrolled at the CCW training facility. So we have those guys there on Gangrel's there on a daily basis because he's the trainer. We have Fonzie there on a basically weekly basis. So I can't even begin to tell you. And it really makes me upset sometimes, when you kind of it's kind of one of those things where I'm not jealousy, because I was the one who, was the catalyst to provide them this opportunity. But you kind of always want to, when you pass the bridge, you want to burn the bridge behind you. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, it's not fair that these guys have all those great mentors, because I feel like some of them, not all of them, but a lot of them, they take for granted the fact that 2 or 3 times a year we have the QT Marshall seminar is a talent assessment. So it's a practice match. He will then tell you, hey, this is what we're looking for on All Elite Wrestling. These are the things that we're looking for, and you need to change those things. And guess what? He'll be back in 6 months, and they're in the program. He'll tell them again, hey, this is where you were at 6 months ago. You're not progressing enough. You will not have an opportunity with us. And then there's guys that come in who've been training for 3 months that he pulls me aside. He goes, they're ready for AEW Dark on Tuesday. And we've had about 16 or 17 of our regular roster guys on AEW Dark and Elevation over the last year.
That's awesome.
So it's like, it's almost like this minor league program. I don't want to say minor leagues. We're not minor league. We're the last territory.
Sure.
But it's almost like when you're with CCW, you're in the system, and it's so important. And
you're getting eyes on you.
I had to send videotapes to Pat Patterson. Look up the WWE headquarters at the time, and I think it was in Stamford when it was. And I would just send VHS tapes of my matches and put Pat Patterson on them. And I'm sure he got thousands of them. I'm sure he threw them all away.
Right.
That was the only way. And then I look at my students who literally get, VP from AEW and Tom Caster and guys from NXT and WWE do come down here. It's in a less official capacity. Obviously, we had Valerie Lareda go to NXT, and in a less official capacity, we have those guys. But I can't even imagine what it would have been like for me to go and my 3rd month in the business be told this is your roadmap to be considered to be part of All Elite Wrestling. So that's something that just adds incredible value to what we're doing. And I know that's a little bit of inside baseballs. Why would the fans care? But you know what? They want to watch the guy who might be the guy who wrestles Miro on his comeback. They want to watch the guy who might be the guy to beat Kenny Omega, or have Kenny Omega's last match, or be at one of Ricky Stark's future feuds. So if you want to see that guy, you might happen to see them at CCW.
Nelio, give us, we really appreciate your time here this morning, man. We're both looking forward. We're coming out tonight against CCW, Unbranded Brewery Hialeah. Tell everyone again how they could pick up some last-minute tickets, and give us a quick rundown of what's on the card tonight. Go ahead.
Awesome. So, ccwrestlingfl.com, Unbranded Brewing Company. It is amazing beer, amazing barbecue, and amazing professional wrestling. Okay, we're gonna get started a little bit earlier because I turned into a pumpkin at about 10:30. So 10 o'clock shows. We're starting a little bit earlier. So get early tonight. But here's why: I have about 400 and something seat. 400. I think there's 425 actual seats, and we have more pre-sold than the actual seats that I have there tonight. So get there early, okay? General admission. Obviously, if you do VIP, if you did front row, which are completely sold out for the last 3 weeks, you get a seat. General admission, get there early, get your seats in, please, please, please. Second is it's all about the ladder match. I don't know if you remember the Crown. These guys are 6'3", 240 pounds, and they are world beaters. They won the CCW Tag Team Championship against Elevated Status with an amazing run. 2 guys who should be on the next level, ERA and Johnny Nova. They lost the tag team titles. This is the rematch. ERA and Nova are ladder match specialists. They're quick, they're fast, amazing technical abilities. If there's a time that they could defeat the Crown, it's with those belts hanging above the Unbranded Brewing Company. So that is going to be our main event. Nothing is going to be able to follow that. Obviously, QT Marshall with an open challenge to the CCW locker room. I don't even know what that means, but we're gonna see. Hopefully, 40 guys don't just storm the ring and attack him. You know, I might lose some friends if that happens. And then we have Game of War. It's just War Games, guys. War Games is February 18th in Port St. Lucie. Well, tonight we're going to have a 6-man tag to determine the advantage man at War Games on February 18th. That's Cha-Cha Charlie, Jackal Stevens, the Brazilian Destroyer Vinicius versus Alex Chamberlain, Meadow, who just turned Meadow, who's got more heat in that building than I think anybody else does. I think he's going to need security too from the ring to the building. I hope nobody sees that guy. And then Damian Fender, that's going to be an awesome one. You have Jay Rios from CMLL, who's an incredible Mexican wrestler. He'll be wrestling Ricky Martinez, who's an MLW guy, who's just an incredible wrestler. So there you have that. You have something for everything. You have violence. You have amazing technical wrestling. You have amazing stories. And then the women, you have Harley Cameron, Danny Alexo, the Wonder from Down Under, one of the most beautiful human beings on the planet, let alone professional wrestlers, versus Valentina Rossi, the Sauce, who is just skyrocketing in independent wrestling. You by next year, you will see her probably on Monday nights. So see her now on Saturday night at Unbranded Brewing Company. Plus a lot more. Alex Ocean, the breakneck kid. Alex Ocean's been out of the ring for a year. He had a broken neck. Was a hardcore icon for us. One of our first real breakout stars at CCW like 6 years ago that broke out. And then he is back. He's back to professional wrestling. And of course, that means he's back at CCW and he's back with his old tag team partner, Agony. And they will wrestle former WWC heavyweight champion Abad, who's incredible, and then former Ring of Honor and Evolve wrestler Rico De La Vega. So just those matches in itself is enough for the price of admission. But on top of that, I promise you a lot more crazy stuff happens.
We're looking forward to it. You know,
that's how you cut a promo.
I mean, that's
a promo.
That's how you cut a promo.
That's how you sell it.
CCW at home. That's how you sell a show.
That's how you sell it. Nelio, excellent job, man. I guess we'll see you tonight. You know, we'll
see you tonight. And please, like, obviously, in the future, Gangrel, Kevin Sullivan. I'd love for you guys to talk to those guys.
Cool.
Kevin Sullivan with his legendary career, Gangrel with his legendary career. Please, like, I would love for anyone.
Bill Alfonso.
Oh, are you kidding me? Fonzo. Oh, well, here's the problem with Fonzie is 99.9% of the stories he tells cannot be aired for human consumption. So like, he's a great promo. He's got great stories, but it's one of those things that like, it's just not viable to put a live microphone or a camera. I'm sure you'll get great stories, but 99% of the things that I've heard from Fonzie and is incredible. And then, you know, stuff where guys are still in major companies they could get in trouble for. So,
Nelio,
so yes.
Excellent job, man. We're really looking forward to the show tonight, man. And like I said, it seems like you guys are red hot right now. This will not be the last time that we have you and your guys on. We'll continue this. Really good stuff, man.
Thank you, brothers. Enjoy the show tonight, fans. If you be there, I promise you will not be disappointed and you'll be back again. Thank you so much.
Awesome.